Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ask Nancy. I'm Nancy Berger, and you are watching, if you're with us live right now, my monthly live stream where I invite guests to talk about all things leadership and, I don't know, fear-based thinking related. Today, I'm thrilled to have as my guest, Amie Sponza, who is she's a certified life mastery coach through the Brave Thinking Institute, but she's got an interesting angle to this whole thing that I'm going to let her share with you. So Amie, welcome. Tell our audience what you do and why you do what you do.
All right. Thanks, Nancy. And thanks for the invitation to be here. As you said, I have been trained by the Brave Thinking Institute as a dream builder coach and a life mastery consultant. Now, what does that mean? Specifically for me, I am very passionate about helping creative artists because I am one myself. I am an actor, a producer. I have a theater company that I co-founded and have been running for 40 years since 1983 when I was just a kid. We have Northeast Stage and doing Shakespeare in the Park in the summers and shows throughout the year. So it's important to me to elevate and raise up actors, writers, producers, singer-songwriters, musicians, people in the creative fields who get stuck in that starving artist mindset so they can become thriving artists and be doing what lights them up, because you were given a gift and a talent in this world, and if you don't use those skills, it's like, you haven't accomplished your mission in being here in this life. So yeah.
Well, what people don't know is that you and I go way back.
Yes.
Amie and I were roommates in college.
Yeah.
At the University of Albany. And I remember one of my most distinct memories of you was when you would get dressed up and go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I was like, this girl is she is in it. Like she's a creative, like times 10. So I think that you've become masterful at tapping into your own passion. And it sounds like you guide people in your coaching to do the same. And that's phenomenal. And I don't know, tell me maybe what you think is one of the biggest impediments for creatives. And I think that we're all creatives in our own way, but we're talking about a contingent of creatives that tend to get stuck in feeling like they're never going to get there. They're never going
to. Right. Why am I not further along by now?
Yeah. So
because I've certainly felt that way.
Right.
And and so what I'm hearing, because I've been interviewing friends who are actors and or multi-hyphenates, where they're creating their own work. They're writing, directing, and starring in their own material, which is a great way to elevate yourself and stop waiting for other people to tell you your worth and to give you a job. Is to create your own work. But having interviewed several people recently, the biggest thing that comes up is fear. It's voice of doubt that says you're not enough. That fear of judgment, and believe it or not, the fear of success.
Fear of success.
What is it going to mean if I do succeed? What if I get this big job? How is that going to affect my family, my significant other? Are they going to be jealous? Is it going to break up our marriage? All of those thoughts that go through your head when you're thinking, this is going to change my life, even if it's something you want.
Oh, yeah. Good stress is still stress.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So when you coach people, okay, suppose I am a singer-songwriter. So suppose I come to you and I say, I'm a singer-songwriter. I've never sold a song. I'm starting to think I just suck. Like what?
Yeah. What do you do? Well, so those limiting belief thoughts are, as I'm sure you know, They come from that ancient brain in the
Yeah.
base of our skulls that is there to protect us,
Yeah.
to keep us safe from the tiger that wants to eat us. To say, all right, well, let's stay in our safe little bubble. Don't try to get bigger. Um, you, even if where you are stinks, to put it in a rated G format, it wants to keep you there. So
Mhm.
my first thing would be to say, recognize and notice that thought and how it makes you feel. And that thought just wants comfort from you, like it's a crying baby. What do you do with a crying baby? You just sometimes, you try feeding it, you try changing it, you do everything you can, but sometimes all they want is to be held and to know that they're loved.
Yes.
And there's that part of us that has this little creative baby, whether it's a book or a song or a show or something inside of you, a need to be creative in some way. And we all, even accountants and who are creative with numbers, there's
Exactly. Right.
there's a creativity inside of you. Leaders uh, want to find a creative way to work with their people. It's to just hold that thought and say, okay, I hear you. I know it's scary. I've got you. You're okay. I love you.
Yeah.
And allow that fear of what if that's true to subside, and breathing, obviously, to calm the nervous system.
Well, yeah, the mind body connection, which
Yeah.
I think I don't mean to generalize here, but I think we can generalize maybe a little that
Yeah.
creatives tend to understand that a little bit better because, especially actors who are the embodiment of, their art. But my question, I just thought of something that I don't know whether you've thought of it. You probably have, but there's so many leaders. There's so many people I know that I have worked with in the C-suite, various levels of an organization, or just individual contributors at any level of the organization, who have creative juices flowing that they often don't talk about. So I could
Yeah.
see where you could be really helpful to companies or leaders, executives who want to cultivate that side of them to empower their leading. Is
Yeah.
that do you work with those people also?
I have not yet, but I would certainly be open to that and happy to do it. I mean, and I guess in one way I have, because I come from a family business, a marina business, in my hometown. I'm third generation in Port of Egypt Marine. My grandfather started the business in 1946 with his two brothers, and my father ran it for many years, and now it's been passed down to be currently run by my brother and my cousin. And I worked there, on and off from when I was a kid, renting out boats to, service writing and customer service and HR and all sorts of different roles, payroll, and been, the assistant to the general manager, whoever that was at the time, and reminding them, especially when you're dealing with customers and employees, how to inspire them to either want to buy or to want to serve the customer in a way that the customer would like. And
Right.
so I've been within a company, I'm not just one, that business supported my ever-changing
Right.
career as an actor. What I would come and go, I gotta go, I have an audition, or I'm directing a high school play, gotta go.
Yeah, you've
So
directed a lot of those.
16.
Yeah. 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 And so whereas that's exactly the point I'm trying to make. Like, whereas sometimes people try to compartmentalize their creative passions, like
Yeah.
that's here. I'm going to park that over here. When
Right.
you allow that to blossom in your professional life,
Yeah.
it broadens your horizons, right? It creates that
Absolutely.
growth mindset. It
Yeah.
makes you less rigid and more maybe collaborative, maybe innovative, all the things. So I
Yes.
could see
Yes.
where these two things live really well together. And with your experience, you could really help people sort of tap into that.
Yeah. Happy to do that too. Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, what are the people that you've been working with? Is there a story that you could share that has been really powerful for you as a coach, like where someone has, I don't know, reconnected with their creative self or reframed their limiting thoughts in a different way?
Uh, yeah, a couple of things come to mind. I worked with a writer who who is currently, combining her creative ability with her survival job, her day job, right? So she knows that she needs the time to write, but she also needs to pay her rent. So she had gotten herself into a place where she physically made herself sick.
Mm-hmm.
She was on a medical leave because the stress of the job that she had been in was so high that she ended up in the hospital. And she was in a pretty low place when I first started working with her. And as we went through the coaching process, she was able to release some of these feelings of self doubt and fear. And as we say, befriend our fear. We allow the fear to come with us on the ride of our life, but
Mm-hmm.
it can't be in the driver's seat. And she had we start with, what's your vision? What would you love? That's a very powerful question. What would you love? And she wrote out her wish, which was to have um, a position in a company that was earning her six figures, that gave her the flexibility to work from home part of the week, and to work with people that uh, were friendly and helpful, and that she felt good working with.
Mm-hmm.
And after 8 weeks of working with her, and she was going out on interviews and such, and she landed that job with the exact salary that she had written down, with a hybrid schedule where she could work from home, and hours that allowed her to write in the morning before she went to work.
What a great
And
story.
she just was beaming when she told me she got the job. She was just, you know, thrilled with the fact that she could do this for herself. And it
And
starts
and
with the vision of what it is. If you don't know where you're going, any path will get you there.
right. It starts with a vision, but I've had this debate with people uh, about manifesting
Yeah.
and wishful thinking.
Yes.
So
Takes action. You can't just wish. You
you
can't just
can't
write it.
wish.
You have to take
Neurologically,
action.
from a neuroscience standpoint, wishing is very different than wanting. So
Yeah.
when you want your vision, what do you want? You
Yeah.
are in a purposeful, intentional mindset of
Yeah.
growth. When you're wishing, you're like kind of assuming it's not going to, a very good chance it
Yeah.
won't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this manifest, and who knows that it's such an intricate process, the RAS system in the brain, or what
Yeah.
happened to your client when she decided that's what she wanted. She might have started looking differently at
Yes.
things and drawing
Yes.
things to her. And this is manifest. I mean, it's real, right? So
Yes.
that's what
Her
an empowering
behavior,
story.
her thoughts changed, which meant she felt differently, which
Yes.
meant she took different actions, and she
Yes.
showed up differently. I know
Yes.
right before she went into this interview, we talked, and she was nervous, and I said, "I want you to imagine you're walking out of that interview as if you already have the job. so that when you walk in there, you know it's already yours. If this is the job you really want, you walk in there with the confidence of knowing they've already hired you. This is just a formality.
Right. And
changed.
that's great advice. But Amie, how many people do you know that think that well, that I'm being presumptuous, or I'm fluffing up my own self-importance, or whatever it is. And instead it's like manifestation, like you're going in, I've already got the job. You're not
Yeah,
being self-centered, you're being purposeful. And
exactly.
it changes how you show up.
Yeah. And perhaps creatives, actors in particular, when you're going in for an audition and you're up against all these people, some look like you, some don't. And you're thinking, oh, who am I to think, you have to push all that aside, knowing if this job is meant for me, it's mine. And if it's not, something even better still is out there for me. And being able to focus in the moment, especially as actors, to be present in the moment with the piece that you're doing, with the interaction you're having with the soul on the other side, whether it's a camera or a person, to be present and give the best you've got, and then leave it behind. Especially as actors, we have to release it. We have to let it go and know that if it's meant for me, if it's meant to be, it'll happen, and if not, something better is out there. I mean, there are all kinds of stories of actors who've turned down a role or not gotten a role they thought they were going to get, and someone else, if they had had that role, that movie would not have been the blockbuster it was. But that gave you the room to be in something else that became your vehicle, your avenue. So,
But
if the job,
that's where it all falls. That's where it
yeah,
all not falls. That's the center of it. What you
yeah,
just said is that
yeah,
accepting that your path is your path.
yeah,
Like as a singer, somebody said to me years ago in one of the bands I was in, there will always be someone who sings better than you technically. There will always be someone who sings not as well as you do technically.
yeah,
No one will ever sing a song exactly as you do.
exactly.
Good,
Yes.
better, and different. But
Yeah,
that's the thing, right?
yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Rogers always said it. Like you
yeah,
are special, but we
yeah.
don't often think of it that way. It's like,
Right. You're enough. You are, if no one else says it to you today, you are enough just the way you are right now. And we're all on a path of growth because, we live in a spiral universe,
yeah.
and the universe is asking us to grow in ever increasing ways. So we're either growing or we're dying. So keep growing.
And keep making mistakes. Make more
Yeah.
mistakes. I
Yes.
say, make
Fail
more
fast.
mistakes. Fail
Yeah.
fast. Do
Fail
you
fast.
are you a follower of the artist's way of Julia Cameron's work? Do you use that in
I
your coaching?
I know of it and I have read some of it, but it's not something I'm actively doing.
Yeah. I just hear
But
a lot
I'm
about it.
aware of all of these teachings, and we take bits and pieces here and there. And I like the story. I think we talked about this earlier. The story of the bamboo, right?
Yeah.
When you plant a bamboo seed, and you nurture it and you water it and you're watching it. And the first year it grows an inch. And then the second year it grows another inch. And the third year and the fourth year, another inch each. And you think, oh my God, what is happening? This plant is never going to grow. And in the fifth year, it grows 100 feet. And the only reason that that is true is because underneath where we can't see, the roots have grown deeper and deeper and spread out in order to support that 100-foot growth. So, for those who've won the lottery and won $1 million, they don't have the roots to support believing they can be a millionaire. So they often lose it, or it doesn't last because they don't have the millionaire mindset.
Right.
So for the actors, or the creatives out there who are struggling, it's because they haven't grown the roots to believe that they are a star. They are the star of their own life. You just have to believe it, to live it, live the life of the person who is already a star.
Yeah. And the root metaphor, I use that. I don't use the bamboo story, but the metaphor that works in my coaching is that the roots are your thoughts, and the
Yes,
thoughts are choices that you make. And they're not
exactly.
choices you make like, I want to feel crappy today, so I'm going to choose self-limiting thought. No, they're
No.
thoughts that your brain chooses based on neural pathways that have been developed and strengthened over time. And it
Yes.
always goes back to home. It goes back
Yes.
to first family modeling, socialization, the dynamics in your first family home. It's not,
Yep.
and then I get the stiff arm, but it's not about blaming your mom. It's about
No.
understanding how you were
Yeah,
socialized and then what has led to the thoughts you choose. Because once you
exactly.
understand that, talk about befriending fear, then you can unpack it and reframe the thoughts and think differently
Yes.
and have an entirely different experience, right?
Yes. Repatterning is so important. Yes, noticing what you're noticing, looking at the thing, the thought, whatever it
Yep.
is, the belief, the pattern of belief, which is our paradigms, right?
Yeah.
Paradigms can be positive or negative. So when we look at them and recognize them, that's when we can shift them and turn them around. And it's a journey that we all have to go, and it's never one and done. It's a process. It's like peeling an onion. You get through one thing and you realize, oh, there's something more here.
Right.
It's like forgiveness, and we can forgive ourselves first
Yeah.
for having these thoughts, because we've been trained from
We've
the
been,
minute we're born.
yes. Yeah. We were trained to, and generationally, I mean,
Yeah.
speaking from personal experience, my parents did the best they could with
Yes.
they lived their wounds just like their parents before them lived their wounds. We all live our
Yes.
wounds. We bleed all over the place. So they
Yeah.
did their best.
Yeah.
They didn't know, weren't intending for the words that they said. From my mom didn't intend for, by telling me I was fat, to set me
Hmm.
on a 30-year journey with an eating disorder. She would never mean to do that.
Of
She was
course.
she was speaking from her own experience and what was important to her, and then it became important to me, and then I
Hmm.
had to unpack that, understand it, and then reframe it. But I think you would share in this, all we want people to know is that they have the power to change it right now.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Start now. Act
Yeah, like,
now.
you don't have to
That's
get
my
any special tools. You just can
Yes.
start.
Yes, yes. That's why I chose that, it's a dual reason for choosing the name of my business, Act Now Life Coaching. Act now because I'm an actor, and act now because there's no time like now to start to change things.
Right.
And it starts right up in the brain, what we're
And
thinking.
I want to ask you about this. Um, we have, it's also these preconceived notions about creatives and success. Like,
Yeah.
right? You can speak to this better than I can, but creatives have this preconceived notion about, well, what it would mean to make it, but
Yeah.
you have to open your brain to all these other possibilities that there are,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Right. Yes. Uh, opening yourself up to all the ways in which your creativity can be utilized. So, you know, right before the pandemic, I had an agent. I was going on auditions. You know, it was here and there. Wasn't a lot happening, but I was going in there. I was doing the thing, waiting for that one shot that was going to catapult me, right? And then in February, after a year of working with this agent, she did not renew. And I thought, well, that's not fun. And then in March, everything shut down. I'm like, oh, well, I guess it was just as well. And then I started focusing on, what I could do from where I was. I paid attention to my home and my family and nurtured my relationship with my husband. And I kept my own local theater company doing something via the computer. We started meeting virtually to read plays, and actually were able to present Richard III in a hybrid way, where there was a small group that met in a theater on a stage and did a couple scenes, and the rest of it was done on the computer. So you have things you can do to fulfill these creative outlets. And you can also utilize them in your day job. If you're waiting tables, for example, you can use your skills as an actor to present yourself, and you can imagine that the people you're waiting on are your next producer. Whatever. Use your skills however because you don't know. Maybe they are.
And you're talking about mindset. You're talking about mindset too. That open growth, curiosity. Any moment could be a great, today is going to be full of moments. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens, but that's a choice, right?
Yes. And
we have a
so
few
when
minutes,
oh, okay.
Yeah, we have a few minutes. I just want to make sure before we close that if I want to challenge anybody that's watching the replay of this, if you are a creative and you're finding yourself in this stuck place, you want to talk to Amie. So tell us how to get a hold of you, what's the best way, and
email my name, Amie Sponza, at actnowlifecoaching.com. And you can go to my website, which is actnowlifecoaching.com. And there's a free abundance ebook that you can get that will help you with your mindset around money. There's all sorts of mantras in there. And I've opened up my schedule for some breakthrough sessions, 30-minute breakthrough sessions. And so for the first 5 people who email me, I will give a free 30-minute session too, if anybody wants to do that.
Free 30-minute session. Hear that, y'all. You want to take advantage of that.
So that's Amie Sponza at actnowlifecoaching.com. Yeah.
All right. We got that out. Now, you were saying something before I rudely interrupted you.
No, it's all good. I was just going to say that once the pandemic was winding down and I was working with the family business, how I came to coaching was my brother noticed that I was unhappy and it was affecting people around me at work. That my mindset was in the toilet at the time. And so he said, I think you should go spend the time to figure out what is going to make you happy. And that's when I found this avenue of coaching. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear my dog.
Your dog is chiming in saying, yes, Mom, you were unhappy. We all knew it.
UPS is here. So I found the Brave Thinking Institute. I went through this program and I started manifesting stuff for myself because I was in a different mindset. My mindset shifted. The fear went away and I started saying, what if I could I could be invited to be in a short film shooting in my local area, working with like-minded people and being part of the creative process because I had made some short films. And I got a phone call from a friend while I was walking my dog that same day. And I did the film and I
Are you serious?
I'm serious. That day, a friend from high school, now it's in the film festival circuit. Okay. So I thought if I can do it, anyone
can. The naysayers on manifestation, you heard it here, folks.
Yes.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, sidebar, please send me the link to that. I would love to look at that short film if it's public domain.
It's once it's out of the
the
circuit.
festival.
I can do that. Yeah. Film festival
That's so
circuit.
cool.
Yeah.
You are, it's so great to see you. And we've
too.
come a long way from our little dorm in Albany, New
Yes.
York.
That's
But
right.
I'm grateful for the work you do. And again, anybody who wants to get in touch with Amie Sponza at actnowlifecoaching.com. Do it now. Amie,
Yay.
thanks for joining me today. We'll do this again sometime. And
Yes.
to all
Love
of
it.
you watching the replay, thanks for joining us, Nancy. I will see you again next month. In the meantime, if you have any questions you would like me to explore, please send them to me at nancy@nancyarburger.com. All the best, everyone. Thanks again, Amie.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Nance.